And Lee Kirk is our interim manager for the Bundy National Monument. There's also a couple other staff I have here too that will help out as needed. Also, I noticed Marilyn Kirkpatrick is here, so thank you for attending, Marilyn. And I want to give a big thanks to both the Virgin Valley Water District, who asked us to come here tonight, as well as the City of Mesquite and Mayor Litton. Thank you very much. The reason that we wanted to come here tonight is, you know, good, bad, or indifferent, and I know there's those folks that are not happy with the idea that the national monument was proclaimed by the president. Others that are very happy about it. But I think our role as BLM is to talk about what's in the proclamation. The proclamation was something that was done that we as a local office had no input into, but our job from day one is to follow the laws, the executive orders, the policies, and the regulations that are handed to us for us to be stewards and managers of the land. So today what we would like to talk about is the proclamation. Well, there's probably 1,001 other things that a lot of people would like to talk about, but we're going to focus tonight on the proclamation, what the proclamation means, and what it doesn't mean. So with that, what I'd like to do is I'd like to hand it over to Dale, who is the field manager in this area, and she has a couple of things that she'd like to talk about. Then we have about a 15-minute or so presentation that will get into the proclamation, and we'll talk about the objects of the monument, the allowable uses, and some of the differences between what we were managing for prior to the monument, as well as what we're doing right now. And then we open it up for questions and answers. And like I said, we'll be happy to answer questions each morning and information that we're here to discuss tonight. So with that, Dale?
Yeah, thanks, Hannah. Can everybody hear me? No. I'll try to talk as loud as I can to get this in the right position.
Test.
I think this one's much better. So hello everyone, I'm Gail Smith. I'm the field manager for the Las Vegas field office. And thank you all so very much for coming. It's just an outstanding crowd, so thank you. I work in the Southern Nevada District office, and I'll tell you, we have more than our fair share of legislation, executive orders, now proclamation. Our job is to translate the black and white on those documents and see how it is implemented on the ground. And that's our job to do. We have very thoroughly gone through the proclamation, and we have great confidence that what is in this proclamation is consistent with the on-the-ground management in Gold Butte that has been ongoing for the last almost 20 years, since the 1998 Resource Management Plan. Further, I have confidence that this proclamation is flexible to allow the Bureau of Land Management to work with our partners, particularly the Virgin Valley Water District, in permitting the needed water conveyance infrastructure from their water rights to construct, develop, and maintain those facilities to deliver water to the town of Bunkerville and to the city of Mesquite. We believe that we have the flexibility to do that. And I'm not trying to do a spoiler alert here, but Lee is going to be providing a PowerPoint presentation. And so, without further ado, I'm going to turn this over to Lee.
Thank you, Gail. Everyone hear me okay? I'm trying to make sure I'm talking loud. Did not practice this presentation with a microphone, so we knew. Again, we talked about this presentation. I'm going to talk about why the proclamation, or how Butte became a national monument, what it was set aside to protect, what allowable and non-allowable uses are called after the proclamation, and what the existing designations that are already in the national monument. As we kind of mentioned earlier, Gold Butte was designated a national monument through presidential proclamation. National monuments can be designated by the president to protect public lands, protect its scientific, cultural, historic, and natural resource value. Gold Butte is approximately 296,937 acres. Within that, 11,759 acres managed by the Bureau of Reclamation. The proclamation does call out those lands will be transferred over to the Bureau of Land Management for their management. So we kind of talked about resources, or what they're going to call objects and values. Objects and values are called out in the proclamation. It's what the elements have to protect now and for future generations. I just have a list of some of those objects and values up there. This is a complete list, but there are some of the key components. For instance, we have the Las Vegas bear fox, the Las Vegas buckwheat. Those are plant species that are only found in southern Nevada, north in the Gold National Monument. So there's some species that we're protecting. There's also the threatened desert forest, desert forest habitat, which is needed for recovery species. We have the relic leopard troll, which was once thought to be extinct, is now introduced in some strains. And we have the desert bighorn sheep. There are some scientific value areas. We have some recently discovered dinosaur tracks. We also have the Devil's Throat sinkhole, which is, there's a picture up there, that's a neat little thing. And we also, what Gold Butte is known for, is cultural and historic sites, such as rock art, rock shelters, and remnants of historic mining and ranching. So again, these are not all of them, but these are the major aspects of objects and values of resources. So now let me get into allowable and non-allowable uses, and I think this is what a lot of people here find out about. So first, let me talk about valid existing rights, such as water rights, mining claims, and right-of-ways. If you have a valid existing right, those remain, those do not change. What the proclamation does get into is right-of-ways a little bit more, such as the Burden Valley Water District. Those right-of-ways within the National Monument, they're allowed to, again, upgrade, maintain those within their right-of-ways, so that does not change. Mineral development. So mineral development has been withdrawn in Gold Butte, so there's not any change from the National Monument proclamation to how we're currently managing mineral development. Unless you have existing mining claim, there will be no new mining development in the National Monument. Wildlife management is done through the Nevada Department of Wildlife. That does not change. They manage the wildlife, hunting and fishing. Nothing in the proclamation changes that. So that'll still be under the jurisdiction of the Nevada Department of Wildlife. Now, travel management. The proclamation does call out that motorized travel is limited to the designated open routes. We did a travel management plan in 2008, and those routes have been identified. So those routes are still part of that designation and don't change. What it does call out, though, is non-motorized mechanized vehicle use. Mountain bikes are limited to designated routes, so it does call that. And in the military, there is some military training that is conducted in Gold Butte. That does not change. They'll still be allowed to do training in Gold Butte with coordination with the BLM. So the BLM is required to do a management plan of this area, so we'll be moving forward. Not sure when we're going to be moving forward with that, but we will have to do a management plan. There'll be extensive public involvement when we do that. An aspect of that public involvement will be an advisory committee that will need to be set up. I'm going to pass that on to them to explain that a little bit more.
Now that activist is starting.
Okay, one of the things that, as Lee said, proclamation does call for a citizens-based advisory committee. And these are really pretty neat. There'll be, I think, 15 people, it's either 12 or 15 people that will be on that. An elected official, there'll be public at large, somebody from the recreation community, someone from the hunting and fishing community as well, someone from the state. But what these advisory committees do, and it's really kind of fantastic, is they will assist us in the development of any land use plan that we do, and be that advisory group to help us with the management as we go along. Before I came to my current position, I was manager in California, and we had a national monument that had an advisory committee. And that advisory committee stepped with us in every step of the planning process, and we represented all sorts of different groups and stakeholders. We were able to take what we were talking about, take it back out to those stakeholders, get their comments, bring it back to us, and we worked through a very, very successful plan. And that group was so excited about it, they wanted to remain engaged with us as we began to implement that, and they continue to provide that advice and guidance and counsel to that office and to that monument. Came out really well. There will eventually be a Federal Register notice that goes out.
Can you guys hear it well?
And so that's a place that those that are interested under certain categories can submit their nomination. We'll look at that. Those will have to be vetted and then moved up to the Secretary of the Interior, who finally does approve those. But once you're on, then it's a great communication piece. I really look forward to that.
Thank you, Tim. So now I'd like to talk about existing designations. So recreation is not a designation. Recreation does occur in the National Monument, continue to occur in the National Monument. We will manage recreation through our regular BLM regulation and policy and through future management planning. So recreation will still occur and is occurring now. Wilderness and wilderness study areas, so we do have those within the National Monument boundary. Those are nationally, congressionally designated. Those designations don't change, or management of those, so those will remain the same. Areas of critical environmental concern are areas that the BLM designates through our planning process every time we do a resource management plan. Those are set aside to protect critical resources, such as the ones that are called out in the National Monument. So no changes to that, except when we do management planning, those could either be removed, modified, or stay. We do have a herd management area for wild burros. That management also does not change until we do future planning. That it could be adjusted then or stay or remain, but it would go through the planning process. And last is the Gold Butte Backcountry Byway. That's a designation also. That remains the same, doesn't change, and the designation remains. So we provided some information, but we're going to be adding stuff. This is our website, Gold Butte. We're going to be adding maps of the designated routes. Some of the information we have today will be on that site. We'll have safety tips, proclamation, which you guys have. I hope everyone got a chance to get the cheat sheet. This is just kind of a quick summary of the proclamation. So you can have an idea what it's set up for, what it's allowable, non-allowable uses. Again, my name is Lee Kirk, and I'm the acting monument manager. If you guys have any questions, I can have business cards up here. Please call me anytime. I'd like to talk to you. What information you need will be available for you guys going through this process. And I think with that, we're going to open it up for questions and answers. First.
Right next to you.
That's ladies first.
And foremost.
Yeah, first off, I want to know why this meeting isn't being held in Bunkerville. Who has the proper jurisdiction over this matter?
We would be happy to go to Bunkerville at some point like we did last summer. It was just very gracious of the city of Mesquite and the Virgin Valley Water District this visit. And we will be also looking at other places in which we can go discuss the proclamation.
And I also want to make a public statement to this community right now, because our county commissioners aren't here, our governor isn't here, and the representatives from the state are not here. This is not okay. These guys are going to go back, and they're going to tell everybody that the community is for this. Well, I'm here right now to say that our community is greatly in opposition to this. This meeting is held on a weeknight at 5 p.m. where the working class are still working and they're home caring for their families because there's school in the morning. This is not an adequate representation of this community. I have lived here my entire life. 30 years I've lived in this community, and we have never once had a problem enjoying our sovereign state land.
What's your question?
These are not public lands.
Shut up and let her talk.
I'll get to it. I want to know, right now, I want to know if any of you remember 2014 when BLM agents shot a man in the back at the Red Rock thing up the hill. Do you want that to come in your community? He just set out a probably woulda, shoulda, coulda. Do you remember what happened in this community when we were terrorized by an No. This is the future of this world. Hey, sit down! This is the future of this world. This is bigger than you.
Where's your poor poster boy, Dan Love? How come he's not here?
No love for Dan Love.
Well, as you can see, folks, things are getting a little heated here. So you're watching it live through Skipper's.
This is our one chance to get the information.
Ignore?
Like or don't like, it's just our one chance, so please. Again, we thank you for your information on that.
One of the things we're going to do now too, Steve Leslie and my staff over here has a mic, and he will go around and provide that. So we'll follow Steve, and let's go over this. Oh, let's go to Terry first.
No.
No?
All of you who've never been to a meeting on welcome to my world. We have been sitting across the table from people like that young lady for decades. Goldview is here, it's the national monument. We want to let's get rid of the cows. When is that going to happen? That's my...
You got Maureen
The cows have been here for where's them 2,500 turtles that you're taking care of?
Concerning the cows, right now the BLM has no intention of moving on those right now. There are 2 court orders. And
Where was her question?
When we start moving to gather the cows, that will be at the direction of our Washington office. It won't come from here, but we'll get direction and guidance at that point in time. So that's all I can really say on the cows at this time.
We'll be there.
What have the cows done to you?
That's it.
I like Amber.
I do have a question.
Words
I'm
and
talking about the Backcountry Pilots Association. I've landed in that backcountry. Sorry. My name's Ken Bond. I belong to several Backcountry Pilots Associations. I've landed in the backcountry to go Butte to several places. I've been involved with BLM for 50 years, and I've continuously we've been shut down on our dirt strips, our landing areas. I've seen Jeep trails closed. I've seen bicycle trails closed, hiking trails, areas closed all over. This has all been done, as you say, we're going to have a committee, advisory committee, that's the word, advisory. You guys have been dictators forever. You've shut down areas I've been involved in, and I've met with 2 BLM guys, and I met with Daggett County commissioners with BLM, which is not here, but you guys agreed that we'd keep this strip open. You bring in a guy from California, he's a new director. He plows it up, and he says it's for sage grouse, desert turtles, Butte, darting bug, or whatever. And you guys are supposed to out any input to the city. My question is, are you going to before you close anything, are you going to talk with the people that are involved in that area and do things and have a decent reason to close it?
I appreciate that comment, I really do. This whole area of 500,000 acres of desert tortoise habitat, including Mormon Mesa and Arrow Canyon, went through a route designation process 2003. I think we finally got the decision in 2008. And we were so grateful to have the help of the rural community, the Partners in Conservation, the Rotary Club, other members of the public to help us identify the routes within this giant area. We went through a public process to identify which roads would remain open, which roads needed to become closed for whatever reason. We went through multiple meetings on it, and we came up with a decision in 2008. Out of almost 1,000 miles of roads, less than 10% were
Who came up with that?
In Butte, over 600 miles of roads are open to the public. So if we do have to look at route designations again for any reason, if we have to look at individual roads, we're not going to do the whole thing over again, believe me. Once was enough on that. But if we have to look at individual routes, we will take all of that back to the public. It will go back through the public process again. But for right now, we are leaving the designation the way it is, the 600 plus miles of routes open. They are open right now, and they will remain open.
Can I land my airplane out there still?
We might hit a turtle. Careful. Big fine. Probably prison.
You're not going to answer that question?
No. Get shot.
Ask your question.
And you might get shot.
Land my airplane out there.
Show me exactly where you were doing that before.
Because you don't know?
There's only one designated area.
Where in the Constitution do you get your authority? Just curious. I read it a lot.
Harry Reid. Harry Reid.
Administrative rules.
Oh.
So,
Bureau of Land Mafia. That's what BLM stands for. That's very night radio.
We can drive a motorcycle and they tell me. Once you have your meeting,
this is a
Read it. Read it. Right.
Hey,
Show me where they get their authority.
let her talk.
where do you get yours?
I haven't been here that long.
Here's the deal, sport.
I've seen the district 24. I live up in Byclass. I know that the last time they took the district away, District Las Vegas was supposed to protect them. They had so many of them multiply because they multiply like rabbits that they had to kill them. You know that from Las Vegas. You know that. 2,500 desert tortoises were killed by them. My question is, we know that is true. We know that this place is a safe place for those desert tortoises because they roam freely in these neighborhoods.
So are these
Cars and
guys.
everything. We didn't get a say so. It is true. Our city council members aren't here. This is not right. Why were they asked to come is what I want to know first. That's my first question. Were they asked to attend? One of you. Where's George Bassett? I'm really concerned about this, that everybody gets represented. I've seen this. 88% of our state is federal land now.
Thank you. Yeah!
And most people don't know what it says. Most people don't know about the enclave law. And it's because of these people over here that I studied that Constitution for the last year. I have buried myself in it. And it is very clear. The federal government has the right to 10 square miles in Washington, D.C., forts, arsenals, and other buildings as necessary.
Thank you.
That's it. They don't have the right to keep coming in and taking on land after land after land. I respect
not you. And I'm going to say one more thing. Is BLM, I'll give you one. Is BLM going to come in here and do the same thing they did at the Bundy Ranch? Are they going to do the same thing that they did at the Malheur National? Are you going to make it so miserable for people that they can't live anymore?
Yeah.
Woo! I don't know who she is, but I love her.
I like it.
Really get that is we were given a proclamation. Our intent is to manage per the proclamation for the laws, policies, and regulations that you handed, and that's where we'll go. In terms of the invite tonight, we put an invite out to as wide as the range as we could. It was open to the public, so our hope is that we reach as many as we could and continue to reach out.
Thank you.
Thank you to the BLM for coming tonight. I know you're federal employees, civil servants, and I really appreciate your time. I, for one, look forward to the planning process. And I know it was extensive. You did public input, you had it on the internet. There were times when you came with maps, you took questions. I know there was a process, and I really appreciate it. So my question, I'd like to look forward to some practical things. That, for instance, roads, it's a popular conversation. People have hot and cold issues. But I think that we can number the roads like they do in Arizona, and I'm hoping to look forward to that, and that's my question.
Your grandchildren start.
Thank you. She wants the road system numbered, and I think that's a wonderful idea. Not only having a numbered road system, not only does
I thought the county already had them numbered. So I thought the county already had those roads numbered.
But it provides safety. If you can have a designated number and somebody gets lost or they need some help and they have a GPS, they can look on a map, look at that road, and see where you are. So when we get a little further in getting back out there and replacing the signs, we do have a numbering system that has been approved by our state office. So we're hoping to implement that. So thank you for that suggestion.
So I've got like 4 people stacked up back here.
Go stand back there. Go get mine.
Yeah, that's what I thought. No questions over on this side, huh?
First question on water rights. So you're preserving our access and our right-of-ways to the water. Question is, in Lincoln County, I understand that when a management plan was created for an area up there, that yes, the water district had right to get to the water, but then all of a sudden the management plan included the fact that they couldn't really have any buildings and they couldn't lay pipe in certain places, so they effectively made it cost ineffective for them to ever be able to get the water out. Are we going to have protection so that not only do we have right to make our way to the water, but to actually get it down to our city?
So the proclamation is very specific to the Virgin Valley Water District and to their water rights. It specifically called out the Virgin Valley Water District, and you have to look at the intent of what the proclamation says. So there are several rights of way that they have to get to those waters, and our intention is to work with them to make sure that infrastructure and the ability to construct the necessary water conveyance facilities is allowed. And that is our commitment. We have been working with Aaron Bunker, we've been working with Kevin Brown. They're great folks. They have built a lot of trust. We're working on a number of other projects with them. And so we're going to continue to work with them. That's our
Working with them or federal control on the
because I
waters?
won't be here forever, but it'll be those that come after me.
Their job is terrorists. That's
My question is, the advisory committee that you spoke of, what's the process for developing that, and when is it gonna start?
I can't give you a good answer on when it will start. That's an honest, true answer. Proclamation does talk about advisory committee who goes through that process. You know, here we are in the government, there's a process. What that process will do is the federal registry notice will go out sometime only in the next several months. It will say there's a advisory committee, and here's the categories we're looking for nominations for. That nomination process will be out for, well, I think it's like 60 days or something like that. And people can nominate themselves. And then from that point, those will be vetted and then the office and to the governor's office, and then back to how long that takes. It told you it would take 2 months. I just want to say that within that process will work itself.
How is it going to be put out that you're starting the process?
There will be a federal registry. I know people don't look at the federal registry very often, but along that will be a news release that will go out to all the local papers talking about this process and good contact for us.
Question about the budget. I realize you're really on it. My understanding is it is a national monument that sort of elevates the importance of this area in budgetary terms. And I'm wondering if you can give us any idea of how that budget process might work. And you know, I may be using Sloan Canyon or a relatively new monument. What monies might come into community for employment here might be able to participate. And in particular, a project I'd be interested in is having a road repainted. If you have any thoughts about that. Thank you.
In terms of the budget, right now, since it hasn't really almost mid fiscal year for us, you know, there's no appointed dollars. We have X amount of dollars, although we're kind of using the dollars we have already been appropriated right now to get through. I think the big thing is when we get that management plan done, that's going to lay out a lot of where we need to be and how we need to, and what we need to get to. And so that will really be the baseline for establishing that. In terms of the road, boy, I've been down that road too, and I've knocked out a couple teeth going down.
Just a reminder, we are at the BLM Town Hall meeting in Mesquite, Nevada, at the City Hall in Mesquite.
Options in the future, but it's probably part of the planning process as well.
So that would be about 3 years down the road before you could start really.
Probably.
I wanted to add one more point. So there's appropriated dollars, but we're also going to be very proactive to the point of being aggressive about finding other dollars through grants. So the Southern Nevada Public Lands Management Act has a couple of categories called conservation initiatives and capital improvements. We were lucky enough to be awarded for a conservation initiative just this December, and that is to do a historic properties treatment plan for the Greater Whitney Pocket Cultural Complex. And what that will do is identify those cultural resources, to provide some restoration, to work with the tribe. We're working with a Moapa band of Paiutes, and they're going to provide us input and assistance in interpretation. And so it's a pretty hefty project. It's about a 3 to 4 year project, about a 4-year project. And so kind of on the heels of that, we'll be going after more Southern Nevada Public Lands Management money to augment any kind of federal appropriation.
I have a question now. This is all this land we're talking about. It's 3.3 million acres of our ancestral land. It never came in here and took our land. And to tell you people, so what I'm saying is I wanted to address the other guy over there when you're talking about the pictures, but those are storytelling. And they go from this different series. It ain't no art. It's writing, telling stories about what is there. So from where I come from, my grandfather was born in Go Butte, so we have a lot of ties to Go Butte. Our land went mostly all of Clark County, into Arizona and Utah, all the way to the Colorado River, clear to Cottonwood Island. That used to be our ancestral land before the government came and took our land. So what I'm saying is when you have a plan, a management plan to do what you're doing out in Go Butte, first of all, I want to say something about the Falling Man. You guys put a trail right through an arc site, and that trail continues to be there.
That's because they don't care.
So I'm just saying, you guys are managing something, you guys need to manage it the right way. I mean, the turtles, that's all of our ancestral foods. Turtles, the salt, the bighorn sheep, the deer. There's deer out in Go Butte on the other side. I worked in Go Butte back in the 70s. I worked for Howard Hughes, I guess. Jim Hayward used to be the boss out here at that time. And there's a lot of places out there that are very sacred to all of our Indian people, our Southern Bundy people. And to hear all this going back and forth about the plans, I mean, why don't they just give Dr. Oak that?
There you go.
Thank you. I don't know if I can answer that one as well as you'd like. But one of the things I forgot to mention earlier was talking about the advisory committee. That one member of the implementaion should be on that committee as well. So we really appreciate your support and your counsel and your wisdom as we move through the planning process.
I'm Ken Rhodes, and I'd like to ask you a question. Who owns the Bureau of Land Management?
We do.
We do. I understand it's a foreign corporation out of Puerto Rico, am I right, from my research? And y'all got policing powers. I hope Trump takes the goon policing powers away from you people because you are brutal.
Let him answer. Are they owned by Puerto Rico?
Yeah, they are.
Puerto Rico? No, but let him answer.
No, we aren't owned by a foreign corporation or anything. It is a federal agency managed under the executive branch of government. Report to the Department of the Interior and then to the President.
I think you're wrong now. It's a foreign corporation.
Under administrative rule, not law.
Put on your tinfoil hat.
Got one for you.
First, I want to say, when you guys open this up, you said you were opening it up for questions and comments. So I have a few comments and I have a few questions. One of my comments is, you said that you're going to come out with more recess plans. I'm going to tell you guys, every time they come out with more recess plans, it is going to shut you more and more and more out of that land. Every time they come in, they're going to shut a road. They're going to shut a walkway that they've already opened. They're going to shut you out of that land. Someone else said about money and how they're going to pave the road. This is how they're going to pave the road. They're going to shut you out of the land, not let you access it, and then they're going to make you pay to get in it, and then if you step off of this paved path, they're going to fine you for it, and that's how they're going to get the money to pay for your paved road to get there. Question I already know because it's been proven. Look at all the other monuments. This is how it happens. You make a scuff in the dirt and you are hauled off to jail or you are fined tons of money. That's how it works.
You all laugh until it happens.
It happens. Trust me. How I know this is because I have 26 nieces and nephews. That's not including myself or my 14 brothers and sisters. That, yeah, I know what you're thinking. Oh, she's a Bundy. I know what I'm talking about because I have already felt what these agencies will do to you guys. And I am sick that you guys are so blind that you do not know this. It makes me sick. So those are my comments. My question is, who owns and has the private deeded water rights to the water you're talking about?
Yeah, I answered that.
So you're just going to take it and you're going to use it and abuse it? But you don't know who owns it.
Theft.
Eminent domain is theft.
Look at the look on their faces. They're blank.
That's right.
Yep.
We have a title to it. So I don't know how you're going to use it when we own it. And we have the title to it. And we've had it for hundreds of years. Thank you. Over 100 years. I'm sorry.
Speechless.
Wow. And the BLM is dumped. Dun, dun, dun.
I happen to be
Scrambling for answers. Who's talking?
Melvin Jensen, who was the son of John Jensen, who was the son of Christina Abbott, and William Elias Abbott, whose statue is out in the front of this yard. I have watched the BLM implementaion all my life move people off this mountain. So when you chuckle about it, the facts are the facts. I watched the BLM burn the cabin, Raiders cabin, down on this mountain. Ivan Bundy owns his water rights. He owns federally access to that land. So, are you going to honor those water lines? Are you going to honor that access? Is my question.
As you said earlier, the proclamation does acknowledge the water rights that are out there. We have no say on the water rights. So those are going to.
No, you said a second ago.
Those are going to be those that it belongs to.
What does what
in terms
happen
of
to
access,
this?
like Gail talked earlier, you know, we went through a travel management process earlier, back in 2008, and over 600 miles of road are still available and open, and there's no intention right now of changing that.
Right now.
Right now, it's on another resource plan.
This gentleman states that they're going to honor those rights.
It's not on.
Put it by your mouth.
Anyways, a year ago, the BLM went out there and they tore up 2 springs. They ripped out all the hoses, all the plumbing. It's a foreman that went out there and developed those springs. He dug down in the earth, there was a mud puddle there. He dug down, he put rocks in there, he put a head house, he ran water down. And the BLM ripped them off. Now, they're going to preserve them after they've done this. Do I believe them? Hell no. Okay?
That's what the question was.
Another deal, a little bit off the subject, but I followed out there for 1 month camping, and he did move spots every 4 days. In the middle of the night, 10 o'clock, his trailer moves, and he's in the living quarters, and he has a dog there. Well, 2 mountain lions grabbed the dog out of the trailer, pulled it out. Yeah, all you animal lovers, I'd appreciate this. Pulled it out, scarred him up, ripped his stomach open. Well, my father-in-law shot the lion. Well, guess who's in trouble?
Administrative
Guess
rules.
why? Guess why those lions were so hungry? The BLM ripped out the water.
Yep.
Yeah.
There used to be a shitload of rabbits out there, quail, chukar.
And they're all gone.
And guess what? They're gone. Why? Because you guys managed it so well. Now those lions are turning on dogs. And you know what? You guys got their suit. Be careful. I'm just warning you. The lions are hungry. And there's a reason why. And it's
I
because
saw the
these-
pictures of the lions. They're big.
That's what I was talking.
Over here.
I would like to reply to the lady that said she's been fighting these people for a long time.
Right here.
I've been at meetings with you because I'm an avid hiker, and I believe in all those clubs that you go to, thinking that they were doing better for the land for all of us people that hike to go and be able to do everything. What I can tell everybody else is that when all this happens, everywhere that you think you're able to hike, you can hike there one day and then go to the next. And they have these cement pillars there so you can get through, and you can't bring your dogs there anymore. And I used to go and take pictures everywhere, and everything is dying. They're not taking care of what they say they're taking care of. I met these people because I seen what's happened to the Bundys. And for you to sit here and clap when you see that they are throwing grandmas on the ground, and you think that that's okay to save a turtle that they're killing themselves. They've killed, what, 25,000?
25,000.
No, because 25,000.
3 million.
Because
Well, that's 3 billion. How about that?
it doesn't matter if it's 2 turtles. It doesn't matter. They say they're taking care of them, but because they don't have the money, you even admit it right now yourself that you don't have the money. You don't know where it's coming from. You take these turtles in, and then you have them euthanized because you can't take care of the turtles. Who's really killing turtles? Cows and turtles have gotten along as far as my whole life. Every history book that I read, every book that I've read, cows and turtles were fine. I just don't understand how everyone could just be okay with this. They're not telling you the truth.
What's your question?
I don't have a question. It was a comment.
Thank you.
Hello, everybody. My name is Brand Thronton. I have 5 generations in southern Nevada. My grandmother was one of the original pioneers of southern Nevada. She came here in 1905. If you go over to Pine Valley, my great-great-grandfather, my great-great-uncle were bishops here. Okay? My great-great-uncle was a bishop in Bunkerville at one time. All right? I have a strong history in southern Nevada and southern Utah. I was at the Bundy standoff. I had snipers pointing weapons at me. Okay? I went to the compound with a whole bunch of other wonderful, brave people. While the BLM pointed weapons at us. I got the Malheur Refuge. I'm one of the original occupiers of the Malheur Refuge.
Not guilty.
Okay?
Should be in jail.
I'm going to tell you
Not
what.
guilty.
I'm an honorary member of 7 militias, one in southern Utah and one in southern Nevada. This dog and pony show, I promise you, will not happen. It's not going to happen. You might as well leave and get out of here now. Thank you.
My question, you hear me? Everybody hear me? I want to focus this to the young man right here, the big guy. I'm going to call him the big guy. I don't know his name. But he looks like he's fresh out of college. No question. You know, not real fresh, but for me, when I get a little older, I get kind of a little senile, you know. I don't remember things really well, and I'm not picking on anybody. But the word management came up several times in the opening statement. Management. I think we use that word way too loosely.
Exactly.
And the reason I say that is because it's brought out over here. Well, I was a rancher here years and years ago when this desert turtle thing started its beginnings. And I had to give up my ranch. So my question is, and I hope I can get an answer in your management, it was brought out that 2,500, I don't know the exact number, turtles were euthanized by the BLM. Now, is that a management practice for you?
Just like
let me finish, and then you can maybe enlighten me. Last year, you were going to euthanize 45,000 wild horses. Is that a management practice? On your board, you pointed out that you have wild burros out there running where cattle run. And when do you figure you're going to have to start euthanizing wild burros because you don't manage them? And I guess the last question I have is, when you come out with your desert turtle plan that we know from the start one was BS, but in your little thing that you come out, you were claiming by your scientists and investigators that the cattle were stepping on the turtles. Now, the same man that created them cows created them burros, so are you going to tell me that them burros are running around stepping on turtles too? Or was it all just a big lie? And we all bought into it?
Not all of us.
Big guy, what's your answer?
Thank you.
He wanted to lead the answer.
Your feelings.
In charge? Isn't he in charge?
I know I look young, but I don't remember everything. So for the walrus or the burrows, so like I said, that's currently being managed. We go through a process. That's what we look at again. That's what management.
What is that process?
It's a planning process. So when I talked about doing a management plan,
You said they're already being managed.
I know they're currently managed, but we
What
also
is that process?
Why don't you let me answer the question? Is it in your
You
handout?
didn't answer my question. I'm trying to paraphrase so I answer it.
I'm listening. Do the best that you can.
Okay. So, again, this became a national monument, so we have to do a plan just for the national monument. So, we were currently in the process of doing a resource management plan. That's kind of on hold right now. And we also need a management plan to go with it. So, that's how we do management for the wild horse and burros. Your reports about euthanizing tourists, not knowing what you're talking about, I can't.
Is it in your handout?
I'm just telling you, I can't respond. I don't know.
The question before the very beginning, though.
Is the answer in your handout?
The question about management of the animals, you say you are managing them, but you're saying you're in the process of creating a management plan. So what is the fate of the burros right now, current policy and plan? That's all we're asking.
Well over 1,000 of them out there. They do produce.
Is it in your
Burros
handouts?
and proclamation on this project that will do a management, that will provide actual management prescriptions for what we want to do out there. We haven't been able to do anything since 2008 was the last plan, so that needs to be updated, refreshed, and then move on.
I've got 3 generations buried in the Mesquite graveyard. I've already purchased my plot there. So I've got family that's been out there for over 100 years, just like all of you sitting over there in the corner. I'm the sick cousin fighting all of you because you have no idea what you say. And I want you to know I'm not afraid of you, Mr. over there, telling us it's not going to happen. I'm not afraid of you. One day we had a meeting here in the city hall, and a man just down and said, next time I'm bringing a gun to the city. And I wish I could tell you what I said to him, but I'll be nice. And it has to do with his endowment and praying. So let me tell you, 8,000 years of use of Native Americans in Butte. So our little measly 200 years out there doesn't mean diddly squat.
Do you need the BLM? Do you need the BLM that whole time? Did you need the BLM or did the land?
Yourself?
Or were people stewards of the land?
On a weekly basis, I can. And to the gentleman who asked me if I was receiving disability, I'm not. I'm old and I'm on retirement. Thank you very much. We don't like what you say, and there are too many people against you. We want you left home.
We'll see.
Don't drop.
That's very fast.
Since I was in Nevada, I started volunteering in Lone Canyon. I started volunteering at Butte. I'm interested in getting a little bit more information about the planning process. We talked a little bit about some of the safety measures in terms of putting numbers and things on the roads, but I'm also wondering if there's any plans, cell phone service and other areas that cover safety in the area.
Why do we put cell phones in the wilderness? Then we might as well just stay in the city.
So I can't answer specifically what will be in the plan because we have to go through it. I can only say that within the proclamation, it identifies existing rights of way. So there are some vacation sites on Virgin Heat that are allowed to continue. There are some linear rights of ways. Those are roads. Those are water conveyance type rights of way that are going to continue. The proclamation does say that there will be no new rights of way except for the ones that have been authorized. I think where we're going with the Virgin Valley Water District is we want to make sure that their rights of ways are connected to their valid and existing water rights. So for the rest of them, if the rights of way are compatible with those objects of the monument, they could be allowed. One example of this is that the main road going through Butte, and it becomes part of the backcountry byway, is an old RS-2477 road. It doesn't really have a right-of-way on it right now, but it is maintained by Clark County. And
the owners of the land.
Commissioner Kirkpatrick is in the office. Thank you so much for your folks maintaining that road because it does get pretty gnarly. So that is an example of a linear feature that we probably would want to at least analyze to see if that would add to the values of the monument, add to safety, and we have to go through the planning process to identify those. But it was a good question.
I have a question for the mayor. What would you do if they came in and took over your job here in the city?
You never complain when someone else besides us talks.
I have a comment and a question. I've gone through this planning process in Brand Thronton National Forest. We had over 500 miles of ATV trails. We're now down to less than 100. The forest has their planning process. They never give you more, they take away what they have.
We're all Indians today.
You're going to assure the user of the gold view that you currently go out and enjoy it with ATVs and anything else, that you won't close 1 mile of the 600 miles of road.
You won't do the same.
No, I can't promise. Absolutely right with you. What I can do, we have 600 miles of roads. We're going through a planning process. We're going to keep roads.
Who is we?
The Bureau of Land Management.
No, it's the people who are not you. We have a say. And you don't get it.
The town of Bunkerville, to Moab Valley, to Moab, and to all the citizens is I don't expect you to love this road designation plan that we've done. Or less than 10% of the roads were closed. 8 miles of approximately 1 mile. I said, what I can tell you is that if we ever have to make a change, if we're at the end of it, that's what I say, we have to add something. To make sense, we might have two disconnected paths connected. We might have to add a road. If we're going to add a road, if we're going to modify a road, we will bring it back to the people and let them have their input and their assistance and their knowledge. That's what I said. It's not just, oh, let's go and we're going to close this road. We have to take a look at it. If we have to add, we have to modify.
That was their objective from the get-go. We had, like I say, in excess of 500 miles of trail that were assessed I'm on that study. My question is, I understand where this whole Butte herd management area, appropriate management, and go clean up all the remaining wild burrows in the area.
So when we did the 1998 resource management plan, the Butte herd management area had management set. So as part of that planning, we went on an inventory, we set the vegetation, and we came up with a level of rows of range. So we can't say it's always going to be 5, it's always going to be 30. We gave a range, what is it, 25 to 80. And within that range, this is what we call the appropriate management level. So that means if the herd stays within that range, we're good. We're good. If the herd starts to get 100, 150, and it's over what we call the appropriate level, and then we have we have to plan for a gap. So that's basically what it's like. Now, we go back out there, and we get reassess it.
Just remember, BLM is not law enforcement.
BLM does not have law enforcement.
I just want to make my I was very actively participating in the National Monument that they made over in southern Utah. And I'm here to tell you the nightmare that came because of that. And all the roads they shut down. All the roads they shut down. And we GPS and we did all the we don't think, and then I'm going to say that the only way you can vote at all, because they are just addressed, and they are granted roads by Congress, and they cannot take them away if you stand up and declare your rights. They cannot take away your road. We did have issues, and I have to tell you that if you, because of all the regulations, if you got a pothole in one of those roads, you can't even go out and stand from the side and fill that pothole with 10 hours. You can't go in there. They ran over a sagebrush. They lost their business, lost their help, and they paid over of you access that land right now. We have people, because of the monuments, have been allowing public to go out there that come from other parts of the country with a GPS, and they are lost all the time. I can't tell you how many times I've had this lost because they had to